Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Muriel Bowser, the Mayor of Washington, D.C. We are in the John A. Wilson building where we just concluded a Mayor-Council breakfast where we heard a briefing from the Metro General Manager and the district's CFO. I'm happy to answer any questions. Yes, Michael.
Yeah, Mayor, when you hear about Metro's short and long-term challenges and the city and its own budget formulation, obviously you're asking the agencies to look at their finances very carefully. To what extent is the tax increase potentially on residents on the table as a solution?
I don't know yet. I think we're at the very early stages of thinking what Metro needs and working with our jurisdictional partners. You've heard from the city administrator the likelihood of a one-year solution and a longer-term solution that is going to help Metro close a gap in 25 and beyond. You've also heard some of our concerns about the growth of Metro expenses over and above our own growth as a district. So we are looking at all of those constraints and possibilities. Yes, any other questions?
Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning.
There was a story in Axios yesterday that the investigation into the former deputy mayor has failed to launch. For starters, I was wondering if you had any reaction to that. And
our investigation is concluded. We concluded it in July, and we issued a report.
I'm talking about the independent investigation.
That's a question for the independent agency.
We understand that there's going to be an update today as far as sexual harassment policies that we're going to learn more about later on this afternoon. Could you outline for us what's in store and what's your vision of this moving forward?
Well, let me just say, I issued a citywide sexual harassment policy in 2017, and we had the fortunate occurrence of having to engage it fully this year, and it worked. We had employees that came forward, made complaints. They were credible. They were investigated. There have been actions on the government's part, and the policy worked. What we've also learned in these intervening months is that it could be strengthened and made clearer, and that's what you will see in the updated mayor's order. Yes.
Mayor Bowser, what's your strategy as far as engaging your counterparts in Maryland and Virginia around the fair share, and even just engaging the D.C. Council around how this fits into the budget?
Well, your first question is very important. In our experience, we negotiated, I guess, 2018, what we thought was a transformational negotiation around capital funding for Metro, where the district took the lead in those talks and worked with the chief executives and their jurisdictions to come to a solution. And that's what it's going to take here too. Your second question was?
As far as your strategy, just on the first question, like as far as engaging your counterparts, how do you plan on going about doing that?
Well, it's underway, and you heard in the meeting that we have, led by our city administrator, on ongoing talks with the chief administrative officials across the compact area. Yeah.
Mayor Bowser, going back to your mayor's order, you said that it worked. The original 2017 worked, but then I believe you added that you learned that there were places that could be strengthened and clarified. So could you put some details on that? How will the new mayor's order be stronger? In what areas are you strengthening or changing that mayor's order?
Well, Mark, we're going to provide the mayor's order to you. We want you to have the opportunity to read it and ask questions, and at some point thereafter, I'll make comment on it. I haven't signed it yet. If I get to my office at any point today, I'll be signing it, and it will go into effect.
I appreciate that, but the way your staff has set this up, we won't be able to talk to you or anybody on camera after we've read the mayor's order. So can you give us just some indication of something that's new in this order, that strengthened it, that was important to you to see clarified or strengthened?
Sure. I'll say this, and it is, first of all, the law changed since we issued this order in 2017, and so the order reflects the new law. That's number one. Secondly, in the 2017 mayor's order, we indicated that a policy around dating in the government in the chain of command would be addressed, and this mayor's order addresses that.
In what way?
It prohibits dating, romantic, or sexual relationships in the chain of command.
So, and I understand, again, I appreciate that we'll be brief later. So how do you enforce that?
I'm not, now see, Mark, this is why I didn't want to answer questions yet. So please read it. I'm making available administrative officials to walk through it with you. And we have to make clear the values of the district, that we're going to do everything possible to have a sexual harassment-free workforce. And we're going to make the policies as clear as possible so that people can be compliant. And at the end of the day, people have to do the right thing. And if they don't, there will be consequences. Yes?
So in regards to the bus lane education campaign in January, what was the rationale behind that, seeing as in some people's eyes there was more than enough time to get people acclimated to the whole situation?
Well, I'm going to ask the city administrator to talk about that. I know some of the council members are very anxious to give people tickets. I think it's only fair to give people ample opportunity to know what the rules and laws are. And then, you know, oftentimes they're compliant. And so we want to have a period of public education that I think is fair. And then we will implement the new policy. Let me ask the city administrator to say a little more.
Thank you, Mayor. So there was a trial period where effectively motorists that were at the stopped in bus lanes or driving in bus lanes were given ticket warnings. When we looked at the data around that, what you want to see in the trial period is really a declining number of warnings going at. So when we looked at the data, we thought that we were still issuing a significant enough volume of warning tickets that it was worthwhile to be able to continue to just reinforce the responsibilities of drivers to respect the bus lanes, to not stop in the bus lanes or bus stops. That then is sort of a fair communication that once we start enforcing the tickets, we know that people have given the full time and benefit of understanding the responsibilities.
Any other questions? Who has it? Sam?
So, Mayor, we've
Sam
been...
over here, then Sam over there. Sam Ford.
Okay, thank you. So, a lot of attention to juveniles, and you talked about this yesterday, and we heard there was a brawl at the juvenile Mount Olivet's facility yesterday. First off, could we find out some more about that, and also, you know, any policies or changes that we should be focused on as we go forward?
Well, thanks for that question, Sam. I don't know that I have any more to add because that matter is under investigation, and certainly the director is engaged in that investigation both on the employee side and the youth side. I understand that some youth will be facing consequences related to the fight that they were involved in at the YSC. Secondly, we're always looking for ways to keep kids safe, engaged off the streets, and for ways to make sure that our public safety ecosystem is working best to serve them. So we will continue to focus on that in all regards. Yeah, go Sam.
Also, you sort of focused on a judge and a judge's decision, and of course, I guess that judge got a lot of attention from us, you know, after that.
No, the judge got attention before that.
Well, yes, but I mean by basically focusing on a particular case, a particular judge, is that a technique to try to get change, or what's your...
No, I was asked a question about a case and I responded. I think one of the judge had also made some comments prior to that were specific that I responded to.
And at the the same time, you're acting director of DYRS. Apparently has had some criticism in the state of Maryland where he was previously saying basically that a juvenile under a certain age would not be charged, basically regardless of what the crime was, if it wasn't a violent crime. What are your thoughts on that?
You know my thoughts on that. I think that children who commit crimes have to have consequences. And in the district, the Attorney General makes those decisions, and the courts decide where they're placed, and the courts supervise them if they're in pretrial or post-commitment custody.
So the fact that was a policy he pushed in Maryland does not give you a pause?
He's an outstanding secretary, period. He was in Maryland, and he'll be a great director at DYRS. Yep.
Mayor Hill, question for you. As you know, we're 17 days away from another government shutdown. I'm wondering, have you directed any contingency plans as far as district operations if that were to happen? And also, as the mayor of the nation's capital, has the new Speaker of the House's office reached out to you at all? Have there been any discussions either way?
Anytime we have changes in leadership, we'll reach out. Whether it's happened yet, I don't think so, but it will. It's been kind of a whirlwind for them and for us, and we hope they're very focused on the continuity of running the United States of America. For us, government shutdown means we have to pitch in to fill some gaps that the federal government leaves on the mall, public safety, but it doesn't affect district operations. Yes, Sam?
Under which circumstances would you support a cutback in services, lines, et cetera? And if that is the case, how would you go about ensuring that certain, what they describe as transportation deserts, are not affected and people in those areas not further hindered by lack of transportation options?
I wouldn't support creating transportation deserts, so let me be clear about that. Metro currently has some transportation deserts without cuts, and I wouldn't be supportive of transportation deserts. That's not to say, and I want to reiterate what I said earlier, that we can't, just like we wouldn't give DDOT or MPD or DHS a blank check to run their operations from year to year, we also can't give that to Metro. So they do need to demonstrate on an annual basis that they're efficient and that their services are working to the benefit of the region. And so that's what I would be looking for in terms of any cuts or enhancements that they recommend. Thank you, everybody.